that scene.
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you put that in the middle of my fun time cartoon? I was, ha ha ha, and now I'm sobbing.
Hi, I'm Kay.
And I'm Gabe. And we're the Ghouls Next Door.
Ghouls Next Door.
Talking about spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Like trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma, baby.
Yeah, and how you should talk about it.
Yes. Yeah, don't
be
put it
your
all
true
inside.
self.
Be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. But sing about it also.
Yeah, sing. Yeah, we're doing a takedown. Takedown. Takedown, down. Yeah, we're the Ghouls Next Door, a media literacy show from a horror lens where we explore the real life, historical, psychological, generational influences behind our cinematic fears. And closing out the year, closing out our animated series, we're talking about the hit Kpop Demon Hunters.
We are, and it was great. And everyone agrees because it has like a really high score on everything and also has like taken the world by storm. It seems to be universally like I've not met a single person who has said that they didn't like it. I've met people who've been like, I haven't seen it yet. But not a single person who's like, I didn't like it. Or it was awful. No one said that that I've met yet.
Yeah.
You might, who's listening to us, have a different perspective, but so far, 10 out of 10, no complaints.
You know, I think like some musicals and stuff aren't for people, and that's fine.
That's fair.
I will say with the tween community, it's, you know, it's too cool.
Really?
You know, it's a little too cool.
Oh, funny.
It's like because it's so cool, it's like uncool to be into that.
Yeah, I hear you.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you know, we can give ourselves some of this and let's
have fun. We're not too cool for fun.
Yeah, I became a bully.
So
with
funny.
a particular tween in my life where they were like, oh, it's too cool. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were so cool. And they were like, oh my God. No, I fixed it. Now they love it.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also like over the break I had Cole watch it, so my brother made sure that he was educated to it as well.
Right. So it's, you know, it's one of those fictional bands that actually is, you know, seen as a real band. You know, it's out there. It's a little different from, I'd say, like KDA, which is a K-pop band that is League of Legends characters, villains made into pop stars. So kind of in that way, but this one is like they have a whole film and they have a whole album. The Saja Boys are in there too, and they're actually topping charts and they're heard in the grocery store and on public radios. Like, it's like they're really like legit, and they're real performers too, you know.
Yeah, I have not been able to go outside my house without hearing at least once a child singing Golden or any other song. And then like similarly, everything I've read about it is that, they're topping the charts of Netflix, they're topping the charts of, you know, Spotify. Like it's taken the world by storm.
Yeah, and I'd rather listen to Golden or Takedown or, you know, this is what it sounds like over Let It Go.
Yeah.
This is the future of children's media.
Way cooler. Yeah. 100%.
Cool costumes. I love, you know, we got kids cosplaying now. It's like super cool. Yeah. And I'm just like kicking myself because I missed the chance to see Audrey Nuna before Kpop Demon Hunters kicked off. Yeah. And she was going to be at like a smaller venue here in Philly, and I missed it. And I'm so sad. Because now it's going to be impossible. I'm never going to be able to see her. But I do like to be like, you know, a little hipster about it. I was like, I liked her before.
Yeah.
I love
Well, now you know, it's a life lesson. Jump on it.
Yeah, don't miss this concert.
Can't wait.
And it's not the first time I've been taught this lesson. So hopefully this time it'll stick. No, no, it's so true. So true. Yeah. But let's hop in. I have a lot to say. I'm sure you're expecting
many words. I also looked in mine and I was like, oh God, this is going to be a long one. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah. I'm going to do my best to keep it, concise and hopefully, educational for you. I'm sure it's not anything you haven't heard before. So let's talk about Kpop Demon Hunters, which came out this year. It's crazy, like brand new. And it is about a world-renowned K-pop group balance their lives in the spotlight with their secret identities as Demon Hunters. And it's directed by Chris Applehans and Maggie Kang. But let me tell you more about what Kpop Demon Hunters is about, and then we'll get into the themes and these characters specifically. I wanted to talk about them. So Kpop Demon Hunters is a magical, vibrant, and gut-punching animated film with catchy, thought-provoking songs, beloved pop stars, and a lot of character growth. Following the famous K-pop band Huntrix, who are so much more than a highly talented group of musicians, they're also badass demon hunters. Using their music and voices, they seek to heal the honmoon, a magical barrier keeping demons out of our world. So Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, Huntrix, are close to doing what generations of musicians before them have sought to do: seal the honmoon for good, turning it golden, which is their titular song. Only as the golden honmoon becomes clearer and closer than ever, lead vocalist Rumi struggles with the loss of her voice and begins to buckle under the weight of a dark secret, because she is half demon.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh no, she did.
Yeah.
So Rumi is the daughter of a former famous singer who had fought to seal the honmoon alongside groupmate Celine, who has now taken on the challenge of raising Rumi after the mother's death. Celine has trained the girls to fight demons, and for Rumi to fight her demon nature, her history, by suppressing the shit out of it. Like, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about anything, right? Like, we're not talking about our pains, trials, tribulations, none of that. Just keep it tight to your chest. And while battling her...
Lock that shit down.
Yeah, it's weakness. We don't do that. We're hunters. We're not in therapy.
Yeah.
While battling her internal challenges and an ill-timed vocal rest during their new album release, Huntrix encounters new competition for the K-pop music charts, a boy band, the Saja Boys. Not only are they hot, talented, and quickly taking over their fandom, they're also demons themselves, sent by the demon lord Guima to take care of these singing heroines once and for all. Can't get any worse. Lead Saja boy Jinu discovers Rumi's dark secret and forms an unlikely connection with her. They slowly develop a plan and feelings for each other to take down Guima while actively fighting each other on the charts and in the streets. Rumi's best friends and fellow performers become concerned by her growing relationship and shady behavior, while Rumi continues to grapple with those things herself. She's like, I get it. We're all kind of doing weird stuff right now. In the end, the Saja Boys nearly defeat the girls, hosting a large soul-sucking concert, been to one of those, that nearly destroys the world as Guima wanted. But after accepting her flaws, history, and hidden strengths stemming from those very pains, Rumi is able to fight back against the demonic Saja Boys, give Jinu a chance at redemption, and finally seal the golden honmoon alongside her besties.
Yep.
It is a children's story.
Yeah.
So we don't have
becomes, however, instead of just a hot boy, it was a hot sword.
Yeah, but it's it's also like a hot internal healing and growth.
Yeah, hot internal healing and growth. Absolutely.
Right? We don't need a hot boy to save us, right? This is like Merida, She's like, I don't need that. I just need to take my mom, and she turned into a bear. Turned my mom into a bear. Yeah. But I will mention that as much as this is a children's film, it takes some unexpected turns. Like, at the ending for me, I was like aghast. I was talking about it in therapy for weeks. So let's talk about letting your darkness meet the light and how we can heal our pain on our own. So Kpop Demon Hunters has become a cultural phenomena, taking the charts and our hearts by storm. While the spotlight is firmly on Rumi and her struggle to embrace the darker half of herself, her bandmates have their own shadowed history. Their music does more than seal the honmoon. It heals pieces of the artists themselves and the fans who are inspired by their vulnerable lyrics. Huntrix finds strengths in the love they have for each other, their friendship, a safe haven for them to be true to themselves, to repair the damage done by their families, and to be fully known. So starting with Zoe, our adorable and talented rapper, she is Korean American and largely misunderstood. She straddles two lives, similar to that of someone biracial. She's binational, not able to firmly exist in one. Seen as too American for Koreans and too Korean for Americans, she struggles with people pleasing and has a strong desire to fit in because of this. She's needing to essentially code switch when existing in either world, right? She has to kind of be a little less a part of herself in either of these places. Her constant switch from adorable to scary is also a representation of this. Like, it's a part of her like persona, and like she's like, you know, a hard rapper, but she's also absolutely adorable. Definitely one of my favorites. As part of Huntrix, those parts of her deemed weird or different are embraced when she seamlessly molds American language into her lyrics, using words that are otherwise difficult for Korean first language learners. I think specifically I saw an article talking about her using words that start with L. That's not like an easy thing for like Korean language first rappers to do. She also blends her American knowledge into the lyrics as well. We see this in her, okay, I know I ramble, but when shooting my words, I go Rambo, which is historically an American hero. He's doing some shady stuff in Asian countries, if anything. Question mark. But it's a great line. And also the like, I know I ramble is her embracing a little bit of her like overexcited self as well. So I relate heavy. Huntrix allows Zoe to be her true self, and that resonates strongly with her fans. However, with Rumi clearly holding something back, it makes Zoe feel like she's not quite good enough or important enough for Rumi, which can lead to overcompensating. So she begins to rewrite the lyrics to Takedown over and over and over, desperate to fix what is clearly broken. And in the end, her found family accepts her for her perfectionist and odd truth. Right? Like, we love that you're our little weirdo. Then we have Mira, who is what I'm dressed as for people who are watching us, is our apathetic, entirely too cool member who says she was labeled a problem child because she got too wild. But now that's how she's getting paid, you know? She's giving oldest daughter, which is funny because she's not the oldest daughter of her family. But she gives that with the way like she shoulders her bandmates' emotions as her responsibility. She is strong and often confronts problems head on. We see very little about her family through the portraits in their Golden music video, but we see her mother, father, and brother, who all seem like wealthy, upright citizens, with her in the center being authentically herself, which is the problem, right? Mira has embraced the two wild parts of herself, challenging social norms like attending the Met Gala, a famously wealth showcase event. Like, you go there to show how much money you have. She arrives in a sleeping bag, which is a really big FU to that structure. She's like, that's how cool I am, first of all. That's how little I give a shit about your little display. And she made it cool. And then Audrey Nuna, fun thing, also attended like one of the screenings in a very sleeping bag inspired outfit. Audrey Nuna is Mira's vocal. Mira essentially exists as a big fuck you to the upper class world she disconnected herself from. So instead, she finds meaning in that found family and her fans. Right? Now, to the big one. So Rumi's trauma is the core focus of the film, and we watch as the concealment of her true identity takes a physical toll on her. Just as we explored in our I Saw the TV Glow review, the act of performing an identity untrue to yourself can be incredibly harmful, leaving you scarred, broken, and that much closer to death. We discussed it. It literally can make death a little easier for your body, right? For many of us who've had to silence or mute pains we experience, whether that's mental health challenges, visible and invisible disabilities, chronic illness, or even complex racial identities, this resonates heavy. When our mental well-being suffers, our physical health is affected. Forced to cover up her skin and put the patterns in the past now, and deny the parts of her deemed dark, flawed, and dangerous, Rumi ends up literally silenced, losing her voice, which is her one weapon for not only the honmoon, but her truth. She can't even, speak on her own behalf. As Rumi begins to develop feelings and compassion for Jinu, she is slowly allowed to accept the good in the parts of herself she'd labeled bad. As she flinches away at the hurtful lyrics and takedown, she has to acknowledge why they hurt. One such lyric is, "A demon with no feelings doesn't deserve to live." It's so obvious. It also has so many of like, "Your soul is hideous. You're disgusting."
Yeah.
Like, it hurt. Like, I listened to it and I'm like, ow. To think and feel that about anyone. And then the fact that like Rumi's also like, that's what you really feel about me, just makes that harder. When ignoring her own demonness, could easily distance herself from this label, but as her patterns creep over her skin stronger each day, she's no longer able to ignore her role in this narrative. And if Jinu is a full demon, but worthy of redemption, then she will have to confront her own capacity for redemption. And I relate to this as someone who can easily forgive and find compassion for others while denying myself the same grace. I get that constantly in, therapy. I get that question of like, well, if, someone that you cared about had these same questions and guilts and, punish themselves, would you let them do that? And I'd be like, no, I protect. They're allowed to make a mistake. They're allowed to feel their feelings. And they're like, what about you? And I'm like, no. No. Stop it. Exemption right here.
No.
Right. And that's just that's not an abnormal thing. Like, there's a lot of people out there who have a similar struggle to give themselves that grace and patience and understanding and forgiveness that they would so easily give someone that they care about, or even just like a young person. Right? If you change the narrative of like, okay, what if Rumi had to tell a young half demon child that she was evil? Would Rumi do that? No.
Probably not.
She would be like, no, you're worth it. You're worthy, right? And so I think having her have to slowly forgive and find compassion and for like redemption for Jinu means she has to look at her own demonness and be like, oh, okay. Well, this guy who's done some questionable things is forgivable. I think I probably am too.
Yeah. Oh, I am, yeah.
Her guardian, Celine, someone who should love her unconditionally, had carved harm into Rumi with each reprimand and demand for silence. When the one person you look to for guidance on how to exist in the world demands that you ignore and suppress a core part of yourself, you grow into an approximation of who you were meant to be. She lived as a fragmented self, as they say, broke into a million pieces, and we can't go back. Rumi was forced to become a performer every day, not just on stage. This only further isolated her from those who loved her and the world that admired her. And while the Huntrix songs in the beginning of the film were both healing the honmoon and hunters Zoe and Mira from their trauma, Rumi was unhealable. You can't grow and heal while in a constant state of survival. You first need to see the beauty in the broken glass.
Use all those lyrics.
Yeah, they're in there because they're so good. This challenge is one quite familiar to myself and to other young people who have had to struggle against their own otherness. For those who are neurodivergent, queer, biracial, or any other tag of identity strongly misunderstood by the larger world, Rumi's last heartbreaking conversation with Celine can hit far too close to home. Celine's plea of "I did my best to accept you" is like a knife straight to the heart. That scene, I was like, how dare you put that in the middle of my fun time cartoon? I was ha ha ha, and now I'm sobbing. Why are you putting my life out there? What's happening? And what struck me hardest and stays with me longer and louder than any of the incredibly catchy songs is how unlike an animated children's movie this scene's resolution is. Because when Rumi asks, "Why couldn't you love me? All of me?" she is left with an unlikely answer, because Celine still fears her and doubles down on the need to hide Rumi's indecent truth. She still believes Rumi needs to be fixed. Right? And it's only natural to expect in a coming-of-age story such as like this, with punchy lyrics, fun colors, and adorable creatures, for Rumi to leave that conversation with her mother figure feeling loved, supported, and finally free from the burden of being a disappointment. That's the natural trajectory of a children's story.
Supposed to fix it. Yeah.
Is that this mother would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong.
I love you so much now.
Just as you are.
Let me make up for all that time."
And who amongst us has not desired that very resolution? Those very same words to be spoken to us. "I'm sorry. I see you now. I love you for who you are. Like, ow, 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 ow. Because that's not what we get, right? Instead, Rumi is denied an apology. She isn't truly seen or understood, and she has to leave on her own, her back straight, and feeling a firm belief in herself without her mother's unconditional love and support. And if you have ever struggled with the need for approval, to hear an apology from someone whom you love who has wronged you, then this scene hurts. It was inspiring to watch as Rumi is able to fight back stronger than ever after embracing darkness for herself and without her mother's acceptance. And it is a very, very hard thing to do, to exist and like continue to move forward without the apology, without the acknowledgement of the pain that they did to you, parental figures especially, is really difficult and generally takes years of therapy sometimes. And she did it all on her own. So kudos to you, baby girl. You did it. Next,
and that's what the therapy usually tells you too, is like that you can't depend upon the apology from somebody else. You need to do it yourself. So it's actually more honest than a lot of media that usually exists will give us. Usually they won't even say that part to us. It's always that they forgive in some way. So yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah, like that's painful. Literally like what, because you know, in therapy, that's something I was like working with myself, where I was just like, oh, I'd love an apology, and it is a very hard thing. Like, and that's for anyone that's wronged you in your life, right? You love the idea of someone feeling this need to be redeemed, and so they go on their little apology tour and they like text you one day and they're like, hey, I'm really sad about how that worked out, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And to be honest, there's plenty of people I could be texting and saying that very same thing and I'm not, you know. And so like, I think exactly like you're saying, that was something that stuck out to me, was I was like, that's such a hard thing to do. And I think it's really speaks to the power and the impact of this film, that it could offer an alternative, this like ending where she still wins, she's still powerful and she's still like strong, but she's still hurt. And like, it's not like you can't live in that future without that, right? Like you don't have all the answers and not everything gets wrapped up into a bow. We just have to keep living. And so we keep getting stronger, we keep living our life. And so I think for people who maybe are struggling with that, this idea of, I can't move forward until I get an apology. If you watch this,
you might not get that.
Maybe it inspires you to realize, like, you don't need it, babe. You're good. Yeah. Like, you can't control that person. You cannot. So you have to figure out, how do I live my life without it? Because you're never going to.
I mean, one additionally powerful thing is that, like, also Zoe and Mira had not yet forgiven her, or like vice versa. Like, they hadn't resolved their conflict when she started singing the last song, and she was still strong enough to try to do it on her own. And then the found family did show up and did apologize. So it's like, you can only accept some, you get some balance of it. Like, the people who want to be with you in your most authentic self will show up, and the ones who can't, you gotta let them go.
Right. And I will say too, I think one of the bigger things, like, it's because she was like half demon, but I think the biggest issue was that she kept it a secret. So they felt more like, you didn't trust us enough, you didn't love us enough, we weren't important enough to you that you could share that part of yourself with you, that you were just hurting in the dark. And so like that's like, it's insulting, it's hurtful, and it's like heartbreaking for like the found family and aspect of that. And so I think, when it came to that ending, it was like, okay, well, if you're embracing it, like, I think I can see the struggle that it was, and I can love you and forgive you for this. So let's move to the next thing. So keeping you obsessed, the toxicity of idol culture. The Saja boys, as our villains, also highlight the complex toxicity behind idol culture in Korea. Considering they are demons and villains, I think they best show us how young creatives can be corrupted, manipulated, and twisted by the industry. Their name Saja can have two meanings, one being a lion, so they're like this fierce, predator. Arguably, male lions are not. But the other is connected to the Korean version of the Grim Reaper, the Yeoseong Saja, which they later dress up as during your idol performance. So the tall hats with the wide brim and the black cloak. I read a lot of manhwa, and there's often a very hot Grim Reaper. If people want some spicy Rex, I have them for you. The Jeoseong Saja Grim Reaper isn't a bringer of death, but is more of a guide, a psychopomp of sorts, right? They bring you through the other world. The Saja boys are certainly ushering souls to an afterlife, only more aggressive than their mythological counterpoints. Their mythological counterparts. Idol culture is strong and obsessive, with the line between artists and their fans heavily blurred, and giving a new level to parasocial relationships. It's like way intense, more than I think we see with other celebrities, you know, because it's normalized. And it's not a far leap to assume that these idols have a firm grasp on the souls of their fans. They really be doing that. I've been there. I'm Stan, you know, I'm an army. But the boys themselves are representations of the toxic aspects of idol culture. Abby, as the hottie of the group and often bursting out of his clothes, represents the over-sexualization of idols. And my Instagram feed can confirm the thirst is real. The group, a tease indeed, is literally full of Abbies. You can just watch some of these cuts of their concerts, and I'm like, take me, I want to go. For the music industry, the motto "sex sells" has always reigned supreme, and while most of the idols, both male and female, are young as fuck, they're sexualized immediately and in specifically gendered ways. So I think of like a very delicate sexual expectation for like the female K-pop artists, and then like we're putting them in like crop tops and, you know, sexualizing them, and they're like 17.
Yeah.
Like, romance is the personification of the parasocial relationships mentioned earlier. He exists as an illusion of the potential romance between idol and fan, right? Who hasn't read a One Direction romance? Jonas Brothers, like, oh, Joe was going to see me in the concert and take me away, right? It's that, like, you know, much larger, and he's accessible to us, and he's just one meet cute at a concert away from being in love with us. That's like what he kind of shows in there as well, is he's just like, fall in love with me. Mystery is the secrecy of the idol's true identity, having to put on a persona to offer their fans that allows their true self to be preserved. He literally hides his face, while in reality, idols put on a different one, right? They have different names, and they might have a different stereotype, like we're seeing with these boys. Like, oh, I like this one. A fun fact of when I first was really getting into BTS and I was like talking about all the boys, which one was my favorite, my friend June was like, oh, this is just like We Bare Bears, when one of the bears was like really into a K-pop group and was like, oh, this one's the sporty one and this one's the thing. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, they're so just funny. Like that. This one is funny and this one's the adult. Like, he's the oldest, and so he takes care of them, you know?
Or like Sporty Spice Babies. But
right, exactly. So they, like, you know, put on that, like, they're known for this, like, specific persona. Brand. Yeah, but then, like, it's not their real name. They change it and, you know, twist it up. I don't know if Rosé's real name is Rosé. Probably not.
Yeah.
You know? Baby is our infantilization of these idols, which exists in a weird relationship with the over-sexualization of them. It's a tango of sorts. Some fans drool over a tease reasonably. Have you seen these concerts? I'm just saying. Just look it up once and your feed will be infected. While others baby girl them. Baby girlify their idols. I think of specifically the growth of Jungkook post BTS. His rise to solo stardom, reminiscent of the former Disney star turned sexy dad trajectory that we see with child performers in America.
That's like sexy dad. You
know, when it's like, I'm not
I know how you're
I'm not Hannah Montana anymore. Like, I'm not Christina Aguilera. I'm Ixtina. You know, like, the, like, Sabrina we have Carpenter, to go straight really hard into, like, sexy from, you know, just being cute. And he did that. He was just a sweetie who liked art. And then he was like, I got all these tattoos and these abs, and now I'm going to make all these songs about sex. And I'm just like, how dare, you're a baby. You're not allowed. But he grew up, and while he is very much an adult now, and so he can absolutely say about it, he definitely is having sex, everybody. Just so you know, he totally is doing that, and he's allowed. So many fans, myself included, had a hard time reconciling the sweet little boy we saw grow up with BTS, now shirtless, tattooed, and grinding on stage. Right? When Lado is saying those things to him, I'm like, stop his precious ears. You're corrupting him. And it's like, that's not true. He's a grown-ass man.
And he's probably like, yeah, nice.
He's like, it's cool. This is really great. I love that. Many fans shared their takes and disappointment of the sexualization of the otherwise pure identity they'd built around Jungkook. Like, it was a thing at the time when his album was hitting, and it's a great album. I highly recommend. Finally, there's Jinu, our big bad and leader of the Saja boys. His backstory is where we get a lot of the toxicity behind the culture, right? Leaving behind and essentially sacrificing his family for fame and power. He has given so much to the industry, and now, after getting all that he dreamed of, discovers the true price to his fame: isolation, guilt, and the crippling weight of perfection. He's just all of the bad. At what cost? You know, now he has to become a sword. Whether fighting our internal demons or the toxicity of idol culture, Kpop Demon Hunters teaches us to have more compassion for performers. After all, they're people too. Even demons are people too. You know, they're people once. Everyone has their own battle they're facing in the dark, so let's all be kinder to each other, giving grace and creating a space that allows us to more easily let the jagged edges meet the light.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I'm going to get into a similar soapbox of sorts where I'm like, be yourself, friends. It's so important. And I mean, I will say anyone who's listened to our show has probably heard some variety of this story. I'm not going to harp on it for too long, but it's just like, it is so important. Both just like from life, but also like from a scientific perspective. And I think especially in the current time frame that we're living in and the level to which being yourself is not necessarily safe, it's just extra important to find those like segments of community where you can be your true self and be safe and be with trusted people. And as Gabe said, you might not get that apology from your parents, and that's okay. You gotta... Part of healing is recognizing that they're just a person, not a planet, and having to just recognize that like they are flawed, and whether they had good intentions or not, sometimes their impacts are going to be terrible.
They're just
and they
people.
Might not see it that way. Yeah, they're just people. All the demons are just people, and it's like we can understand and not accept, or vice versa. Like you know, it's a challenge, and it's something that
you don't have to forgive.
The majority of the millennials and Gen Zers are dealing with, like trying to be the curse breakers of our families. So like it's
a heavy burden.
A heavy burden. We're tired. That I might make the same joke in like 5 seconds.
I love it.
So my section is called Why We Shouldn't Put These Patterns All in the Past Now. Why we need to heal from generational trauma, and how that's represented in Kpop Demon Hunters. So Kpop Demon Hunters, as Gabe said, is a fantastic piece of media. It showcases so many adult themes where you're just like, wow, this was a kid's movie. I was not expecting to feel all these feelings. And it just shows and showcases the essential effort, authenticity, and vulnerability required to break generational curses. The patterns and impacts of family traumas that have been perpetuated across generations, from the silent generation to the boomers to the Gen X to the millennials to the Gen Z. Each generation listed in those before them have a history, and sometimes that history, when we don't talk about it, manifests, unfortunately, in cycles of abuse.
Classic.
Why? Because when we don't talk about Bruno, when we don't talk about our histories or horrors, we also don't heal from them or find true connections with each other. As Gabe was describing Rumi, like, as a ADHD human, there was a long swath of my life where I was like, how can they love me? Because they don't actually know who I am because I'm wearing a mask, you know? And it's like, also most of my therapy was like, well, you're thinking that they're very upset with you, but also like, shouldn't you give them more credit?
Give
You've
them
chosen them as a trusted person in your life. Like, obviously, like, they're probably not as like angry at you, or like give them the trust in them that they love you, and that you chose right, and that they're good people and they care about you and wouldn't try to act maliciously towards you.
Ouch.
Yeah, literally, it was like a big section of therapy. So essentially, when we don't talk about our problems, we can't fix them. And this can result in entire generations feeling completely detached from their own identities, bodies, and souls, to the point that self-hatred and shame transforms them entirely, where they are more masked than themselves, resulting in their own perpetuation of the curses that harm them their whole lives. The shame overtook them so thoroughly that, to equate this to Kpop Demon Hunters, they now feed Guima in the sacrifice of their joy, freedom, and self-acceptance in exchange for societal acceptance. And it's really hard for someone who spent their entire life burying themselves to view your refusal to do that as a good thing.
It's distrustful.
It's very, it feels like an attack against the entire identity and life that they've built at a great cost to themselves. Because if they could have been themselves this whole time, like, why didn't anyone tell them? No one tried to help. And it's what we see in Kpop Demon Hunters is that, unfortunately, most of the time you kind of gotta reach that conclusion yourself. And it's, for whatever reason, although not universally, it seems that like millennials and like Gen Z are taking the charge on that. They are the curse breakers of their families. And we often take that healing journey very seriously. Like, we are the therapy generation, therapy on therapy. And while we are frustrated as heck along the way, it's very like, why me? I'm so tired. I just want to lay down. I don't want to heal everyone's problems. I want to heal my own problems. Everyone else got to go be messy for hundreds of years. Like, just gotta go be terrible. Why do I have to have empathy? Who did that? Our generation is largely dealing with that, and we're tired. And what we see unfold in Kpop Demon Hunters is that the greatest fuel for these persistent generational curses is shame. This shame results in unhealthy coping mechanisms, self-silencing, and self-harm behaviors masked as perfectionism, or on the opposite end, self-sabotage. And as we discussed heavily, Gabe mentioned, and I saw the TV Glow, we definitely talked about it there too, but also in our Talk to Me episode, not talking about an event or a trauma doesn't make the impact of that trauma go away. Looking away from it and pretending it didn't exist doesn't remove its power. It removes our ability to recognize and have context for the harmful impacts of it and how that impact will manifest in other ways. You can't fix the problem if you can't recognize the problem as it's sneaking up behind you, as it's overtaking your body, your voice, your connections. The patterns come out in different ways, whether that's health issues, attachment issues, rage, that's a very common one, obsessive behaviors, and more. Just like representation is so important for identity, the context of our lives and histories are essential to us understanding who and why we exist and we are. If we don't have that context, we cannot heal because we won't have the words or tools to heal. And this lack of context actually fuels shame even further, giving the curse what it wants, its continuation. So no amount of hiding will remove the trauma we've experienced, and in doing so, we greatly damage ourselves, our relationships, and the people we love. But Kpop Demon Hunters reminds us, through the use of its lyrics and storytelling, that we have to face the truth of our history, our identities, and our traumas to break the cycle of shame attached to it. And shame, such a theme of this film. It is what gives Guima their powers. It's what disrupts the honmoon. It what leads to characters to like go astray from their full potential. And largely, it does that in real life. Historically, shame is a tool used to silence individuals that do not fit societal norms established by those in power. Shame is a tool used heavily in, to speak for our own experiences, American Christianity, Puritanism, which is this country was founded upon, and Catholicism, which as well as like, I mean, honestly, other religions do pull upon it some as well. Like, but the goal is to twist people into participants of white supremacist capitalism, at least in America and the West.
Yeah.
So shame is embedded to our collective history and is largely why we have the country we have right now. If the honmoon is real, it's trashed by generations of shame-filled people who have been buried by the system, by each other, and by themselves. And if we equate the shame experience in Kpop Demon Hunters to the queer experience, the neurodivergent experience, the mixed experience, as well as just anyone who's been impacted by like toxic religious ideologies, like we see a lot of parallels. There's a reason so many people related to this film. And to speak from my own experience as an ADHD as fuck individual who is also non-binary and pan, I can at least speak from my own experience that the shame is the first emotion I remember feeling as a kid. I like wrote an entire journal entry about this. I was activated into consciousness with the feeling of shame. It is what brought me online. Shame has been a major proponent in holding myself back for the majority of my life. And to be so honest, I'm still healing. It actively still is. I still actively struggle with it, with the persistent feelings of shame and then like fear of judgment. Little me at like age 3 or 4 vividly remembers feeling like I shouldn't exist. And I'm not saying that's a universal experience for anyone who has similar identities to me, but the awakening is generally fairly early. And the damage of it is it establishes like your whole upbringing, how you identify, when you start to put on that mask, the ways you interact with your peers and relate to your peers. I feel like an alien, like something was wrong with me. But elementary school was me realizing that in order for people to leave me and my family alone, I had to be perfect. So that's the perfectionism-y time. I had to sit still, get good grades, be good for the adults around me. And then middle and high school, which is actually pretty spot on for childhood development. Because in elementary school, you're heavily influenced by your parents and the adults around you. And then in middle and high school, it's very much your peers. Your peers are it. So the mask of perfectionism activated in my like social spheres once I entered high school, and I stopped being myself almost entirely. I don't even know who that was before. And even with these efforts, I like did an okay job. I didn't do a great job. I was still bad at being normal, and all this to say is I related heavily to Rumi. I know they were not made specifically for me, but like Gabe said, there were scenes within this movie where I'm like, wow, I'm like crying and I don't understand why I'm so upset. This is a kid's movie, right? Like, what are we doing? But that was actually intentional. I did read some like commentary from the director and writer, Maggie Kang, who spoke about the fact that like they went into it hoping that it would resonate with adults first and then made sure all the themes were like appropriate like for suitable, kids. Yeah. But like it was made to hit adults emotionally, specifically. And as I said, I don't think it's a unique experience at this point. Gabe talked about the fact it's like one of the most popular films in Netflix history. The songs that broke the charts. There are the most listened to K-pop album, I think, on Spotify right now. This resonates with so many people across like Canada, America, and beyond. And I think that all ties back to shame. As I said, historically, the thing that has fueled most shame is religion, especially Christianity, Catholicism, and Puritanism. And if we think of every country that has been touched by that, it becomes something that, like, you know, not universally relatable, but heavily relatable widely. So shame is felt by anyone who operates outside of societal approval. And in an article titled "In Kpop Demon Hunters, Shame is No Match for Authenticity" by Georgia Coley, they explain Rumi's story may resonate with anyone who has had any experience with the religious trauma that comes from being told a core part of their identity, such as queerness, neurodivergence, or physical disability, is a sinful stamp. These are significant pieces of self which often receive condemnation in religious circles, prompting individuals to hide or cover up. And as so much of this film revolves around shame, it also feels important to acknowledge the ways that that could transfer into so many different meanings. What I additionally appreciate about this film is the fact it humanizes all the characters we see on screen, except for maybe Guima.
Yeah.
But also, in giving him no face, it kind of does hint that it's not a single person, but a system.
Yeah, something more ambiguous.
I could be reaching, but like, that's like 2 cents. And also thinking of Celine as well, as Gabe was talking about, she's the definition of good intentions. Like, I'm trying to protect you from the world, but I'm going to life shatter impact you.
This is the way I know how to do it.
Yeah. And like, I appreciate that we get a bit of her perspective because like many adults who perpetuate harm, she genuinely thinks that by burying herself and Rumi's true selves and histories, she was helping. Yeah. She doesn't even like see that she has anything to apologize for. Yeah. And unfortunately, when you've been so detached from yourself for so long, like that's how a lot of people feel. That's why a lot of people don't get apologies from their parents or parental figures. It makes me think of many parents who think they're helping their kids by being society's enforcer in attempts to protect them, trying to toughen them up or hide them from harm, thinking that their lives will be so much harder. Yeah. And that therefore they must pretend to not be who they truly are is just so common in our familial systems.
It makes me actually
also think
of this last season of Love is Blind and that conversation between Annie and what's his name, and how they were like, you know, they obviously don't agree with if they had a queer kid, but they were also like, oh, because like life would just be harder. Like you don't want them to struggle, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're struggling because you don't love them. Yeah, that's where the struggle comes from, actually.
Like, you know how much they would struggle less, actually, if you were just excited about who they were.
Yeah, you just love them for them.
Surprise. Yeah, because like the world won't. So like be that for them instead of being the opposite to like toughen them up or prepare them for that reality. Like it should be the opposite. You should be the safe space. And also like the encouragement from like parents to like assimilate to whatever the norms of society are, because that's what they did. They buried themselves, so the expectation is that you need to do the same, and that you'll appreciate them later for what they've taught you. And genuinely, most of the time, that's not the case. With our generation, it's the no contact generation. So, like, we're like, wow, that's crazy. Bye forever.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
You're wrong, and I don't feel like explaining through the lead poisoning.
Right. Because you don't want to listen like, anyway.
It's so... So this experience is transferable to many different communities of people, is what that long stream of consciousness was to say. And additionally, as the writer and director Maggie Kang speaks about in a few interviews, the film was a way for her to honor her Korean identity, as Kang grew up in Canada but moved to America after college to pursue a career in animation. Their career history is like actually pretty interesting. Like their dad like showed them a book and like, they were really excited. They were like, animation could be a job. That's so rad. And then like they got job offers right out of college, which is like,
they're so talented.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, but also it's like as like the post-college generation of America, where you're like, go to college, you'll get those jobs right away. And I was like, oh, it's not like that. That's crazy. But yeah, so it's just like, yeah, she got that job right out of college. And in an article titled Maggie Kang Brings the Most Korean Story to Life, Ignites a Global Frenzy with K-Pop Demon Hunters, they quote Kang on her experience growing up in Canada. Kang had been born in Korea and immigrated to Canada at the age of 5, and this experience was deeply integrated into the storytelling of the film. So Kang states, I remember once in class, the teacher couldn't even find Korea on the map. They made me want to share more about my country. My own identity struggles between Canada and Korea are reflected in Rumi's narrative. I wanted to portray the confusion felt by those caught between cultures, and at the same time show that a Korean story can resonate with the world. And it's safe to say she was extremely successful in that goal. And she continues, I've always been disappointed when I see Korean culture misrepresented in global content. Often Asian cultures are blurred together. And this time I really wanted to depict Korea accurately and with detail, We carefully checked and edited every single scene with our Korean staff to make sure it was right. Next, I'll unpack some of the ways she did that with her team in the creation of Kpop Demon Hunters.
Yay!
So the Korean mythology and the influences of Kpop Demon Hunters. While this is a Korean American made or Canadian made film, it was made in America because she was with a Sony. But there was a lot of elements within the film that pull from Korean mythology and culture, and the film is actually very thoughtful, as I said before, in bringing Korean culture and myth into it. Shout out to the article titled "Come for Music, Stay for Cosmology." The Korean folk symbols and beliefs in Kpop Demon Hunters, as that provided a lot of context for me in the section. And if you go read my blog, you can see where I quoted everything directly, highlighting the intentional features within the film. The first piece of uniquely Korean elements are the group's outfits and how it's done. Intro for the film. Our main characters are dressed in K-pop fashion, obviously, but each member is wearing a traditional Korean tassel ornament called norige. They continue that the ornament is worn with hanbok, a traditional Korean dress made for women during the Joseon dynasty, which was from 1392 to 1910. And the ornament's purpose was as a charm, specifically with the hopes of warding off misfortune. But the nodding style for each character had specific meaning. So they highlight that Rumi's norige, for instance, features various nodding styles, including chick-shaped knot and chrysanthemum-shaped knot. The former takes the metaphor of breaking out of an egg like a chick, symbolizing a new beginning and growth. The latter signifies long life, loyalty, and purity, and when it is made into a decorative knot, it is believed to gather good luck and carry the hope that blessings will last long. This knot style is also seen in Zoe's norige. Meanwhile, Mira's norige incorporates a distinct butterfly knot. In Korean culture, butterflies are thought of as joy, harmony, and love.
She's
so
like
it kind of like showcases like their growth. And additionally, the article highlights that the beloved pairing of the blue tiger derpy and the magpie with the hat is from a traditional Korean folk art called Jakohoda, which is featured in the Busan Museum of Art. Maggie King, the director obviously that I mentioned before, said that she referenced multiple Korean folk art pieces in the creation of Kpop Demon Hunters and in those specific characters. And the article also highlights that in Korean culture, magpies are believed to bring good news, and tigers are regarded as guardians that drive away evil and protect the household.
Ironic.
So because of these associations, the folk art was popular because it was believed to keep away evil spirits and bring good fortune. But they continue in saying that tigers are generally associated with the ruling class and that magpies are associated with the common people. So derpy being, well, derpy is intentional as a critique of authority and often oppressive ruling class. And like the magpie is like smarter and like kind of seems like, you know, it's stealing the hat or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like seemed as like you should listen to the magpie. Like the common people have stuff to say that the ruling class should listen to. Yeah.
Too dumb.
Knocking over pots and stuff. Just
God,
really
so
trying to clean stuff up. Yeah, he's very cute. But Al continues that the tree we see Rumi approach when confronting Celine is also very intentional. The large tree decorated with colorful ribbon ties is known as the Dangsan tree, which in Korea symbolize a sacred space. The trees are often a point of worship, and the ribbons also reflect Korea's history and tradition surrounding shamanistic practices. The clothing worn by the Saja boys, as Gabe mentioned, also, which if you watch a lot of K-dramas, or as Gabe said, read manhwas, you've seen a Grim Reaper, a hot Grim Reaper.
Saja.
And the article states that during It's Your Idol performance, the members change into the Korean traditional Grim Reaper outfit, the dark black robes and the black gat, traditional Korean male hat, and the classic depiction of demon figures. In Korean folklore, these Grim Reapers are servants sent to retrieve souls of the dead and guide them to the afterlife, as Gabe said. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to come end your life early. It's like, we're just guiding you to where you need to go.
Right.
And the Dakebi, a familiar mystic creature in Korean folk stories, bears similarities to the West goblins and are depicted in the film's evil entities fighting against Huntrix. So there's like the water demons that come out of the water, and then also the ones at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones in the airplane. So featuring various appearances from having a single eye, a horn on the head, or sharp teeth, the film captures the traditional characteristics found in Korean folklore, even down to the way Huntrix fights resembles the traditional Korean shamanistic rituals that they call gut in Korea. The article continues that in a gut, shamans sing and dance, often holding a sword, bell, or fan to connect with the divine and fight off evil spirits. This characteristic of the ritual inspired director Kang to blend K-pop and shamanism, saying in an interview that she thought in a way the gut could be seen as an early version of a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, the weapons used by Rumi, Zoe, and Mira also are infused with elements of Korean shamanism and historical tradition. Rumi's sword, the article says, is based on the Saengyeom, which translates to sword of four tigers, which is in Chinese characters. That specific sword is believed to possess the ability to slay demons, or more specifically, ghosts and evil spirits. They state that Mira wields a traditional gakdo, which is a curved sword inspired by a weapon from the Gaia Confederacy, which is 42 to 562, so real early.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoe holds a comparatively shorter weapon that she wields by throwing them. Her weapon reflects a ritual knife used by shamans during spiritual ceremonies. Yeah, there's a lot like of intentionality in the creation of Kpop Demon Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
She really just wanted to like make a uniquely Korean film and like make so no one would be like, where's Korea on the map?
Right.
You know, so she never has to have that awkward moment, or like future Korean
kids could be
don't
like
have
proud
to.
of it.
Yeah, and like in our recent history, there's been just such an explosion of like Korean influences, both on like K-dramas are widely loved on Netflix, etc., are more commonly watched nowadays, as well as like K-pop, and then like now even more. She put them even more on the map.
Yeah. So the future Zoe's out there, like, can feel like really proud and can feel like they can exist in both places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you like shared that too, because there's so much intentionality in it, and it's like it's something you could easily miss because you're so like taken over by like the amazing songs and the like aesthetics of it. It's like so funny. It really is. Like the animation is really fun and bizarre. Like it's so unique to this film, and I really enjoyed like just how unique this film was in all of it. Like the way that it's drawn, the songs that it incorporates, even just like the way that it approaches the format of the musical because they are musicians, like it has just a more natural move into that. And then also its ending, I think, is so unexpected and so very needed as a realistic version of healing that is not done in one day, and I think it's because it comes from someone of that generation of being like, we're looking at this in a different way versus like if we look at like older like Disney films where the resolution was not real. It was silly make-believe time.
Not realistic, by any means.
Where instead you have now where you have like, I mean, even Frozen, to give it its flowers, has a different ending too. It's more about this sisterhood, and Brave having her ending be more about her and her mom. It's
like Encanto.
And Encanto instead of like, Cinderella or Belle falling in love with Beast, right? Don't fall in love with your captors. It's more empowering
for sure. Stockholm Syndrome isn't real.
It's not real.
It's based on a bad study.
It's not real.
Essentially.
A man.
Purely nonsensical.
Why would a man be here?
But
anyway, it's so great. I don't know how you wouldn't have seen it yet, but maybe you're out there and you haven't seen Kpop Demon Hunters. Please do yourself some.
If you're a tween and think you're too cool,
you're not.
Watch it anyway.
You're actually not cool at all.
Don't bully teenagers. Stop.
You're usually like so uncool if you don't. No, I'm kidding.
Please watch Kpop Demon Hunters.
Call me up. I will bully your teens for you. And to watching this so that you can have something to watch. But no, I let us know what you think. What are your favorite songs? You know, what other films or musicians do you want us to hear and listen to? Do you watch Ateez thirst traps like myself? You know, what's going on? What's happening out there?
Yeah, unpack the lyrics in the comments. Like, this is what it sounds like. It gives me chills every single time I listen to it. It's just rad.
Yeah,
tell us your favorite song.
It's really fun. Yeah. And don't get married.
Let your kids, or hopefully your kids are just like, they love themselves and you love them and you're supportive of them and whoever their true self is, and see all the ways that makes them happy and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
if there's a part of you that's like, oh, I don't know if I could love my kid if they did X, Y, and Z, and it's anything short of murder, then don't have kids.
That part.
that's my 2 cents for you. Okay, bye. Oh, happy New Year.
Oh yeah, that too.
You'll have a new year, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Bye.